3 hours from now, that'll be Thursday morning local time, Afghan journalists say they won't obey a government order to not report on Election Day violence. Joining me now live with a look at what's ahead is Brigadier General Anthony Tata, who recently was Deputy Commanding General of the 10th Mountain Division in Afghanistan. He is also the author of the novel Sudden Threat. General Tata, thanks for being here tonight. Great to see you as always.
Great to see you, Beverly, as well.
So what does it mean that the Afghan government had to ask journalists not to report on Election Day violence, something the journalists say there that they are not going to abide by?
Well, I think, Beverly, that they know how good the Taliban are at spinning the media, and so this will be a huge loss for the Taliban if the elections are successful and are even perceived as to be without violence. And even in our own country, we have debates about, do we report in the East Coast what the elections are, what the tallies are, before the West Coast is voted. So thinking their way through the media piece is not an unnatural thing. So I think this is very wise of the Afghan government.
The Taliban has vowed to disrupt the elections with suicide attacks. Are there any particular parts of the country that are going to be more vulnerable to that than others?
Beverly, there are 6,000 polling stations around the country. The South, the Pashtun area where the Taliban are from, will be the most vulnerable area. There are some predictions that there will be very little voting there. That's where we just put in all our Marines. The Brits are down there.
That's the Helmand province,
the Helmand
right?
province with all the poppy. That's the place to watch. And northeastern, along the northeastern Afghanistan, along the Pakistan border, that's another place to watch. Those are two key areas that if we're able to secure those polling stations, I think we'll be able to pull a major victory out of this.
We've seen this uptick in violence. I was reading today that since the start of July, 76 U.S. troops have been killed in Afghanistan, and that includes 6 in the last 24 hours. Are we seeing this upsurge in violence simply because we're putting more troops on the ground there and we're really focusing on trying to root the Taliban out?
It's tough anytime you lose soldiers. I haven't been a commander in combat,
right.
And so my heart goes out to the families of those soldiers and to their comrades. It is a problematic issue. August has always been a tough month in Afghanistan. Poppy season's over. All the fighters are out of the poppy fields. They've got their plans. In June, they're getting on with it. And in August, July, August, September have traditionally been the toughest months. And then you add in the elections and the campaign to try to disrupt them, and that's why we're seeing such a high spike.
And are still more troops needed on the ground in Afghanistan?
Well, you hear Senator McCain calling for more
right.
troops, and I think that we're, as I talked about last time I was here, we're at that balance between, are we an occupation force or are we a counterinsurgency force? So I'm not convinced that we need more troops on the ground. Right now, I think we let General McChrystal do his business, and he makes an assessment. He reports out next week to the president, and I think what we're going to hear is that he feels he's probably got enough troops, and he's really got to get after training the Afghan National Army and police. That is the key to the way out of Afghanistan.
Let me follow up on the need for more troops, because there is a new poll. It just was published late today. Washington Post, ABC News poll says a majority of Americans, 51%, now see the war in Afghanistan as not worth fighting, and just a quarter say that more troops should be sent to the country. Can the president keep up his resolve? He said that this is the war of necessity, the war worth fighting. With numbers like that, can he do it?
I think he can, Beverly. I think what you're going to see this week is the election. I think we're going to be able to pull this off, and I think we're going to have a good turnout. We'll probably have equal percentages or higher than an American election of the people, because they're starving to vote. This is their second Democratic election in their history. Karzai back in 2004 was the first democratically elected president, and so there's 41 candidates for president. A little bit of overkill, but it looks like Karzai might pull it off. And then when McChrystal briefs the president next week, and the president can then go on national television and articulate his strategy, I think that's probably what we're going to see.
In our last 10 seconds, is Karzai a shoo-in?
I think he's probably a shoo-in for the ultimate victory. He's got to get over 50% of this vote. If he doesn't, then he runs off against his second place, who's probably going to be Abdullah, his foreign minister. And that could be interesting to watch that.
All right, it'll be worth watching, and the polls open. It's 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 o'clock, and
9.5 hour difference.
Yes.
I'll never forget it.
General Tata, thank you so much for coming in
Always
tonight.
a
Really
pleasure,
appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.